You wake to the hum before you open your eyes. A low, constant vibration from the generator outside the prefab unit. It runs 24 hours a day, never clean, never stable. The air inside smells like dust, gun oil, and recycled breath. Temperature 34 degrees Celsius by 0600. It will climb past 40 before noon. You don't remember when you stopped checking the date. The bunk above you creaks. Someone shifts. No one speaks. Words are limited in the morning. You sit up, feet on cold metal flooring, and reach for boots that are never fully dry. Fine sand coats everything. It settles into seams, into joints, into your teeth. You are not addressed by name here, only call signs, contract numbers, task designations. Identity is inefficient. You dress in layers that signal nothing. No flag, no insignia. Neutral tones, clean lines, denial by design. The mirror above the sink is cracked across the middle. Your face is divided every morning. It helps. Outside, the compound is geometry. Straight lines, angles, concrete barriers stacked 3 high. Cameras fixed at 45 degrees. Guards rotate every 6 hours. The routine is exact. It has to be. You report to briefing at 0630. No one is late. Late means replacement. A man at the front reads from a tablet. No introduction, no eye contact. Coordinates, timelines, payment structures, risk modifiers. Everything is measured, quantified, reduced. You listen. You don't ask questions. You're new enough to still notice the language. Asset, package, neutralize. Words that remove weight. Words that make action procedural. You were told this would be temporary. 6 months, maybe a year. Enough to reset, enough to move on. That was 4 years ago. The first contract was simple. Convoy security, route clearance. Sit in the back of an armored vehicle and watch the horizon for movement that doesn't belong. You remember the first time the road went quiet. No wind, no birds, no sound except the engine idling at 900 RPM. You felt it before you understood it. A shift, absence where there should be noise. Then the explosion, not loud at first, just pressure. Then sound, delayed and overwhelming. The vehicle ahead lifted, then dropped in pieces. You didn't think. Training replaced thought. You moved, returned fire toward shapes, toward heat signatures, toward anything that aligned with threat. After, there was a report. Timelines, angles, distances. You wrote what you saw in exact terms. No adjectives, no interpretation. That's how you learned the system prefers data over memory. You completed the contract. Payment cleared in 72 hours. No delay, no comment. You signed again. Years compress here, not in memory, but in structure. Year 1, you follow orders. Year 2, you anticipate them. Year 3, you begin issuing them. Promotion is not announced, it is implied. A shift in seating during briefings, a different channel on the radio, a slightly higher percentage on the contract, 3% increase, then 5%, numbers that justify continuation. You move from convoy to site security, from site security to operational planning. The roles expand, but the language stays the same. You learn to read people without engaging them. Contractors cycle in and out every 90 days on average. Some last longer, most don't. You stop asking where they go. The missions change, less visible, more precise. You're given oversight of a team of 6, then 10, then 15. You track their sleep cycles, their reaction times, their error rates. You log everything. A mistake is defined as deviation from protocol. Protocol is defined by outcome. Outcome is defined by the contract. There is no space between those definitions. By year 5, you understand the unspoken rules. Rule 1, nothing is personal, but everything is recorded. Rule 2, success is silence, failure is documentation. Rule 3, compliance is flexible if the result aligns with expectation. They call it creative compliance. You learn to adjust reports, not falsify, never that, just refine. Remove excess, highlight relevance. Data can be shaped without being altered. You learn which incidents require escalation and which require absorption. A civilian vehicle crosses a restricted perimeter at 0213. No hostile intent confirmed. You log it as unauthorized entry resolved. The word civilian is unnecessary. An asset resists extraction. You note non-compliance mitigated. Details are inefficient. You begin to understand that clarity is not always desired. Precision is. The bureaucracy expands as you rise. Layers of approval, redundant systems, multiple channels confirming the same action. It creates distance. Distance creates insulation. You operate within that insulation. It keeps you functional. Time outside the compound becomes abstract. You call home less frequently. The signal is unstable, but that's not the reason. Conversations become logistical, short, controlled. How long will you be there? Not sure, another extension. When are you coming back? Soon. Soon becomes a placeholder. It has no fixed meaning. You notice the shift in tone before you acknowledge it. Less expectation, more acceptance. Then eventually, absence. Birthdays pass without markers. Holidays are noted only in passing, if at all. You stop checking social updates. They belong to a different structure, one you no longer operate in. Inside the system, time is measured in contracts, in rotations, in incident-free days. You reach 120 consecutive days without a major event. It is noted. It is rewarded. Reward is another contract. The erosion is gradual. You don't see it in the mirror. The crack still divides your face the same way. You see it in reaction. A loud noise outside the compound perimeter triggers assessment, not concern. A report of casualties is processed as numbers first, context second. You begin to categorize people by function, role, utility, risk. Names fade. You sleep less but more efficiently. 4 hours, then 3, sometimes 2, enough to maintain operational capacity. Dreams become fragmented, images without narrative. You stop trying to interpret them. Isolation becomes standard. You sit with others during meals, but conversation is minimal. Shared experience does not translate to shared expression. Everyone understands, no one explains. The system continues to expand around you. More contracts, more regions, different climates, same structure. You operate in heat, in cold, in environments where the temperature drops to -10 degrees at night and rises to 38 degrees by midday. The body adjusts. It has to. You manage budgets now. Allocation of resources, equipment depreciation schedules, ammunition counts. Everything has a number. A vehicle is retired after 200,000 kilometers or 3 major incidents, whichever comes first. Personnel turnover averages 18% per quarter. Operational costs increase 7% annually. Efficiency targets adjust accordingly. You don't question the numbers, you align with them. The realization doesn't arrive as a moment, it accumulates. A routine operation, extraction at a remote site, coordinates confirmed, timeline fixed. You oversee from a distance, monitors, feeds, data streams. Everything proceeds within parameters until it doesn't. A delay, 30 seconds, then 60. A deviation in movement patterns, a signal lost. You issue adjustments, redirect, compensate. The system responds, it always does, but something shifts. You watch as decisions are made that prioritize completion over deviation. The objective remains constant, variables adjust around it. You recognize the pattern. You've used it. This time, you're outside it. You see the outcome before it's reported. The operation concludes. The objective is marked as complete. Casualties are logged, ratios calculated, acceptable thresholds confirmed. You read the report. It's precise, clean, efficient. It is also incomplete. You realize then that the system does not fail. It absorbs. It does not break. It recalibrates. There is no point where it stops. You request a contract review. It takes 14 days for approval. During that time, nothing changes. You continue operations, you attend briefings, you submit reports. The request moves through channels. It is processed like everything else. When the response comes, it is concise. Option to exit at contract completion. No penalty, no extension. No acknowledgement, no inquiry. You complete the remaining 62 days. You follow every protocol, you maintain every standard. You don't deviate. The last morning is identical to the first. The hum of the generator, the heat, the dust. You pack with efficiency. There is less than you expected. Most of what you used belonged to the system. You return equipment, sign forms, confirm inventory.
A final briefing, though you are no longer assigned. No one marks the moment. You leave the compound through the same gate you entered. Concrete barriers, cameras at 45 degrees. Outside, the air feels different. Not cleaner, just unfiltered. Transportation arrives on schedule, no delay. You don't look back. Time outside expands again, but unevenly. Days feel longer, then shorter. You notice details you had filtered out. Sounds without classification, movement without threat assessment. You sleep longer, but less deeply. Conversations are unfamiliar. You search for structure that isn't there. People use names. They expect responses tied to emotion, not function. You adjust slowly. You realize you are still operating within parameters. They just don't apply here. Months pass. You receive a final communication. A statement, summary of service,